This finally happened in 2019. It took them 5 years, but we are finally here. Like, after so damn long, guys. Like, we're... Wow. Wow. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Slatanist. My name is Luke and today we are going to be talking about Annabelle Comes Home. Annabelle Comes Home is the feature directorial debut by Gary Dauberman, who also wrote all of the other Conjuring Universe spin-off movies from Annabelle up until The Curse of La Llorona. No, actually no, he didn't write The Curse of La Llorona. He wrote The Nun. He produced The Curse of La Llorona. Leveled up. And now he's leveled up one more time and he's made Annabelle Comes Home. And it stars Mckenna Grace, Sarife and Madison Iseman with Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, because it cannot be a Conjuring Universe movie without Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, because, you know, they're like the founding fathers of the Conjuring Universe. So you cannot have a Conjuring movie without them, but this is not a Conjuring movie. Actually, this is the first Conjuring spin-off with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprising their roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren. So, fun fact, Annabelle Comes Home tells a story about Annabelle coming home. And I cannot tell you anything more than that because the trailers only give you that much. And if I spoil it, then later you guys will diss me in the comments and I don't want that. I'm a nice person. First of all, in my humble and modest opinion, Annabelle Comes Home is the best Conjuring Universe spin-off movie that has ever come out since 2014's Annabelle. And I can honestly say that I would include this movie into my Conjuring playlist. And if you don't have a Conjuring playlist, what's wrong with you? Like, make a Conjuring playlist. Like, it's Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, then it's Annabelle Comes Home. There you go. You only need these 3 movies, you don't need the others. First of all, as a feature film directorial debut, Gary Dauberman delivered perfectly. I wouldn't say perfectly, but he's almost there. This movie is not as good as the Conjuring films, obviously, because, you know, that's how it is, right? If you watch my previous video where I spoke about the problems with the Conjuring universe, you would know that the Conjuring spin-off films are more like a DLC to the main video game. So they are never going to be good as the main video game. The DLCs are always like a side thing to that. So yeah, it's never going to be as good as the Conjuring films, but it's really entertaining though. I actually had a really good time with this. I didn't think I would say that. I honestly thought that this film would be like really, really bad, judging from the track record of the Conjuring spin-offs. They have all been really bad. Let's talk about The Nun. No, let's not talk about The Nun. Oh my god. So, in comparison to those movies, this movie is miles ahead of the Conjuring spin-offs. And Annabelle Comes Home is a legit horror movie that you don't even have to know a lot about the Conjuring to watch this movie. You can just watch it on its own. I feel it stands alone perfectly well, and that's a huge plus for the film. So great job, Mr. Gary Dauberman. You have really impressed us by letting us down for the past 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, for the past 5 years. You finally delivered with a good movie, and yeah, hopefully you don't disappoint us once again with It Chapter 2. Because It Chapter 2 is solely written by Gary Dauberman. So we'll see how that movie goes. Just like Child's Play, this movie had its strength in the actors because Mckenna Grace, I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if I'm wrong, I'll put it on my face here. But she carries the entire film, and as a child actor, she really did her very best, which is really something to be praised about because normally child actors suck. That's just the way it is, right? I'm not dissing on child actors, but I'm dissing the sense that child actors don't have the acting experience and capabilities of the adult actors. So normally in regular movie fashion, they normally suck. So to have a child actor carry an entire film is very ballsy. And if they don't do well, which means your whole movie would fail. So in this sense, the movie did not, because she did very well. So huge props to you. I wish to see her in more films. I think that she has a very bright future ahead, and I hope to see her in more things because she is really good. And just like Brightburn, the child actors really killed it in this film, like really killed it in this film. So yeah, huge props to that. Also, this film had some really great camera work. We just looked it up, like literally, like as we were recording this, we looked it up. The cinematographer also worked on The Curse of La Llorona, and if you've seen that film as a pure technical film, it was shot really well. I think well. If you guys don't, then it's up to you. There were some great angles, very reminiscent to The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. And there were a few scenes, actually a lot of this movie has a lot of elements borrowed from those two films. And then we looked it up again and we found that James Wan actually wrote the story for this. So there we go, it comes full circle now. It makes more sense now when you say it like that, right? If I should have just started with that. Okay, straight up, no lie, every scare in Annabelle Comes Home is built around a jump scare. And I don't know how well will that go for you. Personally, I don't like jump scares. I absolutely hate it because I feel like a sound only gives that shock value, but it doesn't really stick with you when you leave the film and all that. Like once you leave a movie, the jump scares don't really scare you anymore. They only add to the watching experience of the film as you are in the cinema, or if you're watching it at home, if you're pirating it, please stop doing that. But if you are doing that, then yeah, that will be the only takeaway from that film at that time. And Annabelle Comes Home is built entirely around jump scares. However, the film has a narrative plot that drives the film, as opposed to a lot of the other Conjuring spin-off films that are entirely based around a single scare. Like if you see The Curse of La Llorona, or better yet, if you've seen The Nun, almost 98% of the film has no narrative plot, it's just jump scares driving the entire film. And this film actually has a solid story to tell with jump scares in them, which is entirely different than the other movies. I know when I say it doesn't make sense, but go watch the movie, then it will. You will understand what I'm saying, because I know as I'm saying it, my brain is kind of like processing the whole thing, and I feel like I'm just talking nonsense now, but go with me, you will get what I'm saying when you watch the film. And Annabelle Comes Home is not like the other spin-off movies. Just trust me on that, man. Trust me on that. Come on. One thing I'll ask you to trust me. Just trust me on one thing. One thing. And I've been talking for like, I think around 5 minutes now. I don't know how long has it been. Somewhere there. Somewhere around 5 minutes just praising the whole movie entirely. And you know, I cannot do that. I cannot just keep praising a movie because it doesn't work like that. You have to be self-aware and know that movies are never perfect. And this movie is not perfect at all. There are a lot of flaws, and we're going to address that now. Annabelle Comes Home was 1 hour 45 minutes long, but I was like corrected by Rifi. He said it's 1 hour 47 minutes long, so that's 2 extra minutes in the film. I don't know why, but it is lah. Just go with it. And the film, I felt, could have really benefited from being a 2-hour long movie, because the first act of the film, the setup that builds to the scares, it just takes way too long, and then the second and the third act of that film feels very rushed. So I feel if the movie was like 2 hours long, it would have had equal timing in every act, which would make the movie a much better paced film, because I felt it was very rushed towards the second and the third act. But in the first act, they just took their time with it and just building to the tension, which is not a bad thing per se, but you know, because those things really matter so that you can connect with the characters and emote with them and feel what they are all going through. But it was just too long, like really too long. Also, as I mentioned earlier, every scare in this film is a jump scare. So with that, you kind of know when the jump scares would happen, which takes you away from the movie a bit, because there will be like this rising music that just rises the whole tension in the whole film. And then it goes very soft, which will actually tell you that there's a jump scare coming. And then BAM! Jump scare. Whole movie. As a film that only delivers on jump scares, you kind of hope that the movie would have much more creative scares, which I would admit that there were creative scares throughout the film, but it's not a lot. Like 95% of the scares were just like, music goes down, bam. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to do that again because my hand pain. So, yeah. Also, as every other movie within the Conjuring universe, this movie has a comic relief as well that gives comedy to the film, because apparently you need comedy in horror movies nowadays. I don't know why, but apparently you do lah. So this movie has that as well. However, the comedic timing in this film is really off and sometimes can be really awkward, especially in times where it builds up the whole tension, right? It gets you like on the edge of your seats, and then it's a comedy and you're like... Also, if you guys are a big fan of the Annabelle movies, which I would ask you, first of all, why are you a fan of the Annabelle movies? They're not even good. But if you happen to be a fan lah, you would know that this Annabelle demon, the goat head guy, right? That this guy is kind of a powerful being within the Conjuring universe. It's kind of like the lipstick face demon from Insidious brought over to this film. It's the same thing lah, basically. And with that, you already know how strong he is. But for some weird reason in this movie, they decide to lower his powers. And it's very questionable, especially in a sense that you know what he can do. You know what this guy is capable of doing. He has like twisted bones or fingers, like kind of like that. I don't know. Is this weird? This is weird, right? That is damn weird. He does that in Annabelle creation, and for some reason in this movie he cannot do, because he has like a kryptonite there and he's like, oh, I cannot go. I don't know lah. So that was a bit jarring in the film. Okay, so overall, Annabelle Comes Home is not as good as you think that it would be, but it also is not as bad as you expected it to be, because I went in thinking that this movie would be another The Nun, because have you seen The Nun? My god, yeah. So yeah, that has been our review for Annabelle Comes Home. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below, as well as leave a comment if you have seen this film. I would like to know, what did you guys think about this film? Did you guys think that this was a good movie or a bad movie, or somewhere in the middle? I found it to be in the middle, as you may have already known by watching this far to the end of the video. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to our channel as well. We have videos posted 3 times a week, and I will see you guys next week on Monday, where we will talk about more horror stuff. And always remember that you're never alone when watching a horror movie.